Hi, and welcome to the full video covering the differences between the Bridgerton books and the TV show. I am very happy to be making this video. I really like Bridgerton, and this was one of the first kind of videos that I did on this channel. Today, we're looking at the season 4 of Bridgerton and book 3. I am going to compare them from memory, so forgive me if I forget a couple of things. I read the book a couple of years ago, but decided to read it again right before the season was released. Of course, there will be spoilers, that is literally the point of this video. I will also only be talking about Benedict's story and not his siblings unless it is relating to his. Let's dive right in. First of all, this is the 4th season of the show, but it is covering the 3rd book of the saga. We are following the love story of the second son, Benedict Bridgerton. Because the 3rd season was covering the 4th book about Colin and Penelope, a lot of things are different. The timeline is not the same. This story starts in 1815 when Colin's story is supposed to start 10 years later. But here, we already know that Penelope is Lady Whistledown and she's already married to Colin. In the book, we don't know any of this, and this is a long time before they get married. The only thing that happens in the book regarding Penelope and Colin is something that already happened in season 3, as this is one of the things that made the love story progress. Colin declares in the book to his brothers and in the TV show to his friends that he would never marry Penelope Featherington. But that's all we have about this couple. Let's talk about our main characters. Besides from Benedict Bridgerton, we have Sophie Beck. In the book, her name is Sophie Beckett, and she's a white woman with blue eyes and blonde hair. They change her to an Asian woman in the show, which I really like because diversity and representation is always welcomed if it doesn't change the plot. In the show, we start with the masquerade ball from Benedict's perspective, but in the book, we start with Sophie's backstory. We learn that she is the illegitimate child of a count, but that after his death, her stepmother kept her in the house as basically a slave. Before going to the ball, the other servants help Sophie get ready. They give her the silver dress. In the show, they say that this is Lord Penwood's sister's dress, but in the book, it is Lord Penwood's mother's dress, so Sophie's grandmother's. It was in a trunk for a while and is very old, and it is perfect for a masquerade ball. The ball sequence is pretty much the same, except that the couple gets interrupted by Colin in the book. After the ball, Sophie disappears and Benedict is left with only a glove. He asks his sister Eloise to help him look for her. Together, they go on walks and talk to many people, trying to find out what everyone was wearing to see if they were the mysterious girl in a silver dress. But he doesn't find anything, and after many days, he asks his mother. He shows her the glove, and she immediately identifies the sign of the House of Penwood. In the book, he only goes to see his mother, and the same thing happens. Many days after the ball, Benedict goes to Penwood House to see if one of the daughters is the girl in a silver dress. He already knows Rosamond. He met her during one of his walks with Eloise, as he was asking girls about their costumes. So he goes to Penwood House to ask for Posy. In the book, he goes to Penwood House the next day. He doesn't know the girls, and after meeting them, asks if there is someone else staying with them. In the show, while Benedict is having tea with the Penwoods, Sophie is in the house, free roaming, and almost goes to see him. In the book, she's locked in the shoe closet. Something that we don't have in the show is how mean and even violent Araminta and Rosamond are to Sophie. They constantly mistreat her verbally, but also don't mind hurting her hands, depriving her of food, and locking her in the shoe closet. In the show, Araminta realizes that Sophie stole her shoes and went to the ball, and she fires her. In the book, she comes back to the shoe closet, tells her to leave as soon as she's done with the shoes, and locks her in again with just a candle. It's Posy who opens the closet and frees Sophie. In the show, Posy steals the diamonds on the shoes and gives them to Sophie. In the book, Sophie steals them. This is important for the end of the story. While all of this takes place, Benedict, who is desperate, goes on some kind of bender and ends up at a party in the countryside at the Cavender house. Now, this is where it is pretty different in the book. After Sophie leaves London, she goes looking for work in the countryside and eventually ends up at the Cavender's house. But this is 2 years later. In the meantime, she has lost a lot of weight from not being able to eat. Her hair is shorter and less beautiful because she had to sell it. In the show, at that party where Benedict is, Sophie helps another maid called Hazel, who is being harassed by Cavender and his friends. In the show, she's alone and is getting violently harassed by the man. Benedict comes to her rescue and they live together. In the show, Cavender fires her as she is leaving. In the book, she was already living with her belongings. During a flashback, we see Lord Penwood's funeral. There, Araminta tells Sophie that her father did not leave her anything. But in the book, we know that Araminta will receive money if she keeps Sophie in the house until she is 20, more than she would if she didn't. So she keeps her as a maid without paying her, saying that Sophie has no other choice and that this is the best thing for her. Talking about her father, in the show, we have a scene of Sophie talking to her father, but we don't have this in the book. He considers her to be her ward and makes sure she received an education, but he does not have a relationship with her. Something else that we get during a flashback is Araminta arriving home and meeting Sophie for the first time. In the show, Lord Penwood introduces her to the staff. Sophie is amongst the servants, and she presents herself to Araminta. Lord Penwood says that she is his ward, and Araminta understands that she is his illegitimate daughter. In the book, Lord Penwood ignores Sophie. She presents herself, but her father does not talk to her. Coming back to the main story, Benedict and Sophie arrive at my cottage under the rain. In the show, Benedict is injured from the fight, but in the book, he is sick. He had been sick for a couple of weeks, and driving for hours under the rain gave him fever. They arrive, but the door is locked because Mr. and Mrs. Crabtree are absent. In the show, Sophie sneaks in and opens the door, but in the book, it is Benedict who does it. Because Benedict doesn't feel well, Sophie helps him to bed. It's almost the same in the book, except Benedict is very feverish. She helps him undress and sees him half naked, which leads to some horniness. In the show, Benedict allows Sophie to wear some of his sister's old dresses instead of her uniform. In the book, she wears some of his clothes that are way too big for her and very inappropriate. While he's sleeping, she stays near him because he has a lot of fever. He dreams about the lady in silver and talks in his sleep. He asks the lady in silver to kiss him. In the show, she doesn't, but in the book, she does. They enjoy each other's company, and we have the scene at the lake. Sophie keeps him company and turns him on, and he's very horny for her. At some point, they are having tea together, and Benedict gets really turned on. So he asks her to go away, jumps out the window to go swim in the cold waters of the lake to calm down. Sophie goes on a walk and finds him, and that is where they kiss for the first time. In the show, they go back to London, and he finds her a job at his mother's house. He already has sent her a letter, and she says that she doesn't have any room for her, but decides to take her in anyway. In the book, she has no idea Benedict is coming back, especially with a girl. She easily finds her a job in the house. In the show, Sophie also asks Benedict to find a job for Hazel, the other servant who was getting assaulted at Cavender's house. Sophie sees her in the kitchen, showing that Benedict kept his promise. In the show, Benedict lives at the house, but in the books, he has his own house. He starts spending a lot of time at his mother's house after Sophie's arrival. He is still looking for the lady in silver, and in the show, Miss Hollis is a potential mystery girl. She is not in the book. One night, Sophie and Benedict finally hook up. There, he asks her to be his mistress. In the book, this happens at the lake. This makes Sophie not want to go back to London with him, but she knows that this is the best thing for her ultimately. She plans to stay at Bridgerton's house only for a couple of weeks to get some money and then find another job in the countryside. After having slept with Benedict, Sophie needs to leave the house. She pretends to find a place at the new Lady Penwood's house, but actually is living for the Americas with another family. In the book, she simply leaves the Bridgerton house and plans on going back to the countryside. In the show, Benedict recognizes that Sophie is a lady in silver because of her mother's necklace. This is the only thing that she had from her mother, and she lost it. But in his drawings of the mysterious lady, Benedict also drew the necklace and recognizes that this is Sophie. In the book, Benedict recognizes that Sophie is a lady in silver because at one point, she's playing with the Bridgerton cousins and she's blindfolded and has to find them. He walks in and sees the lady in silver because the blindfold is hiding her face the same way her mask was. They get into a violent fight, and after having talked to Violet, she leaves Bridgerton house. But then, in the show, Araminta is waiting for her outside of the house and gets her arrested. We also know that she has been looking for Sophie, and Posey saw her while they were at Bridgerton house, but didn't say anything to her mother. At least, not on purpose. In the book, Araminta and her daughters also move in next to the Bridgerton. While they are getting into a carriage, Posey slips and falls on the sidewalk while Sophie is out of the house going to the market. She sees Sophie and they have a quiet understanding that she's going to keep the secret. So when Sophie steps out, Araminta, who is outside too, sees her. She calls for help, saying arrest her, she's a thief. So Sophie starts running, but a man tackles her. They crush her on the floor and wait for the police. Both in the show and the book, she's thrown in jail and Araminta comes to visit her. In the show, the Bridgertons come to rescue her. They go to the judge, who allows Violet to take her with her at Bridgerton house for the moment. Sophie sneaks into the new Lady Penwood's house to take a look at the will and sees that her father did leave her a dowry. At the new Lady Penwood's ball, they come to an agreement to pretend that Sophie is a cousin of the Penwoods, and so it is acceptable for her and Benedict to marry. In the book, the whole ending takes place in the jail. Benedict finds out that she is in jail and him and Violet go there. Posey also gets here. Araminta accuses Sophie of stealing her shoe clips, which she did in the book but not in the show, but Posey takes the blame for it. Posey is also the one that says that Araminta is lying and that she has seen the will. They tell Araminta that she has to acknowledge that Sophie is the daughter of her late husband or she will be shunned from society. There's even a physical confrontation between her and Benedict, and Violet even lies to the judge to free Sophie. That's also how Benedict proposes to Sophie. He just says to the judge that she's his fiancée. Those are the main changes that I can think of. Globally, the book is a bit more violent, and characters like Araminta are not as developed. Araminta is mean through and through, and she doesn't explain her feelings as much as in the show. I think this season did a good job of that in the book. It's a bit different, but the vibe is here. I really like the season, but I also really like the book. If you can think of anything else that I forgot, please put it in the comments and share your knowledge with us. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye!